Want to make a podcast? Spotify's got a platform that's going to let you make one super easily. And then you can distribute it everywhere and even earn money doing this. All in one place. And it's free. It's called Spotify for Podcasters. Here's how it works. Spotify for Podcasters lets you record and even edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. Then you can distribute your podcast to Spotify and everywhere else podcasts are heard.
Ever since we discovered Spotify for Podcasters, it's been really great. Really get the people involved and ask questions and get ideas for new podcasts. So it's really helped us. And, I highly recommend you give it a try. So download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to www.spotify.com/podcasters to get started.
It fooled me, we can't get fooled again.
In Dallas, Texas, 3 shots were fired at President Kennedy's motorcade in downtown Dallas.
December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
You don't know what you're talking about, do you?
Because people have got to know whether or not their president's a crook. Well, I'm not a crook. I've earned everything I've got. If you don't like what we tell you to believe in, we'll kill you.
All right, kids. Listen.
Don't
Podcast,
listen to this.
if you're not of age.
What's of age?
This is 18 and up. Look, we're a bunch of dudes, and we're going to say some really bad words. And probably some things that might offend you. But
Don't listen to this.
can't wait till you listen.
Yeah, don't
If
do
you're
it.
18 and up.
Don't do it.
If you're 18 and
Yeah.
up. Welcome back to the Conspiracy Podcast. Sean, Eric, Jorge.
Hey guys.
What up, everybody?
So yeah, we're here again for yet another chapter in our conspiracy book.
We just got finished doing Kurt Cobain. Hope you guys enjoyed that. That was
Yeah,
cool.
we got a lot of good feedback from you
Yeah,
guys.
a lot of bad feedback too.
That's fine,
Yeah.
good, bad,
Most
but still,
every-
We'll
still
take it.
feedback.
We'll take
You
it.
noticed the poll though? Everybody really
Yeah.
went with Jorge on that.
Pretty
one.
sure we should check Jorge's.
What can I say?
Check Jorge's Cash App account. I'm gonna some receipts.
I feel like I think I'm sitting at a solid 9%.
I think you're
Really low,
like
yeah.
8.5%.
Really low.
Hey, one thing before we get started, I just want to say thank you guys for, if you did vote, we recently got nominated for the Best Male Podcast.
Best male hosted podcast.
That's right.
That's right.
And this is from the People's Choice Podcast Awards that's going on
Yep.
now. So we got nominated. We're in the last round, and now the final voting's going on.
Yeah, and it
Yeah.
won't end until like another month or so
Yeah,
before
yeah.
we find out. But we're up against people that have been doing it for a lot longer than us. So vote for us. Fuck them.
But we'll let you know. It's awesome that we got nominated, so we appreciate that, and we'll let you guys know in September.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll let you know with good news, or we'll just be depressed.
So what are we doing tonight?
So tonight is MK Ultra. This is I know, dude. It's it's one of the top, top.
Do you know much about this, Jorge?
I know a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, I know all of it.
Sean knows all of it.
Yeah, he's been talking about NK Ultra for a while now since we started the podcast. He's like, we got to do this one. We got to do this one.
And
Finally got to
I
it.
Finally put it together.
Yeah. I know very
for
little.
you.
I know very little, just so we're all
Well, this is
we're all
good.
clear. Yeah,
I think it's always good to have someone who knows nothing.
Yeah, okay.
Because then you get like that real unbiased opinion.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll ask questions like,
I know.
who's that guy?
You're like, what?
Yeah,
What's
yeah.
the government?
Yeah. Okay. What does MK mean?
I did a little digging, aka I asked my wife. She also did
That
a lot.
counts,
She
that
also did a lot of
counts.
research.
Yeah.
So MK Ultra is, in essence, it does stand for mind control. The K from control being a K is because it stemmed from Germany, and the German scientists who obviously got brought over by Operation Paperclip, and then we couldn't really find anything for the Ultra. I think it's just because they were like trying to pump it up to the next level.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Ultra. You know,
Well, shout out to our research assistant, Tay Tay.
Tay baby. Thanks, honey. You're the best.
Yeah. She's our number one fan.
She actually is.
She's
the
our
number one fan.
she's our president of
the
our
fan club.
Yeah, she's the number one.
MK Ultra was a top secret CIA project, and it lasted from 1953 to 1973.
Okay.
And so the CIA would conduct hundreds of experiments sometimes on unwitting U.S. citizens, meaning that they did not know what the fuck was going on. And that was to assess the potential use of LSD and other drugs for mind control, information gathering, and psychological torture.
Wow.
So that was the purpose behind the project. So
these people didn't even know that.
well, some people.
Okay.
And some people were volunteers, which I will get into. I will get into all those different accounts.
So you said 53?
Yeah, so 1953 to 1973, so 20 years.
Jeez,
This is a long, fucking 20 years of this shit.
Yeah.
So-
and 53 was Ike, Dwight Eisenhower as the president, I think. Right after the war, I guess. Yeah.
I think it might be
Yeah,
right.
I was just wondering, like, I was trying to lay the scene
get
of
a
like,
feel.
yeah, where
Lay the
were we?
land.
Yeah, like we were in the prime of we just won the war.
I know, it was after the war.
Yeah,
Like all the soldiers come home, start banging their wives.
Yes, and America, yeah, the boomers,
Yeah, the
That's
baby boomers. The baby
yeah,
boomers.
yeah.
Like, exactly.
And America was on top.
I know,
and
we're
it
the
was-
shit. Like
yeah.
kings of industry.
Yeah,
like
that's
fucking,
right. Yeah.
It's a good time. What a time to be alive. Goddamn. I wish I was living back in that time. So pretty much the how it began. So at the height of the Cold War, which was in the 50s and 60s. So the government feared that the Soviets, the Chinese, and North Koreans agents were using mind control to brainwash U.S. prisoners of war in Korea. And so in the Korean War.
to like use them against us? Or, like
Just
brainwash
to do anything to get them to disclose information, to make them double agents, to just kind of, in essence, use mind control to manipulate captured agents to either get intel or to make them like plants.
Yeah. It seems like because it wasn't a war, so it was very much
I mean, they call it-
0070.
wasn't like a
No,
violent.
meaning
like,
like it
war.
wasn't.
Yeah,
like,
it wasn't like
we weren't
World War.
Yeah, we weren't
like
invading
an intelligence war.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was all in the shadows, and
Yeah.
and so
Very
you
true,
know,
very true.
I'm assuming that's where it all started, kind of.
And I think it's also, at that time there's a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Like you're just like afraid. Like, oh, they're doing shit. Oh, they're behind.
Paranoid.
Yeah, paranoid. Thank you. That's
Yeah.
the word I'm looking
Yeah.
for. In response to this and like these fears, Alan Dulles, who was at the time the current acting director of the CIA, he approved Project MK Ultra, obviously in 1953, like I said, and the project was headed up by a chemist named Sidney Gottlieb. Okay. So this was a covert operation aimed to develop techniques that could be used against the Soviets to control human behavior with drugs and other psychological manipulators. And so the program...
So essentially, like, so they can program people
They
to
were
go out and do.
Exactly. They were trying to
projects
do
or whatever.
a vast multitude of things. Let's say you could can make an assassin who didn't know what he was doing. Right. And they would forget everything.
Yeah. This is
Or,
where the
like-
story of Manchurian Candidate.
Exactly.
right.
You ever
Yeah.
see that?
Right.
He's
Yeah.
like, Ted,
Yeah.
blah.
Yeah.
Ted, and it's like,
Yeah.
like, exactly. Like,
that's where this came from.
Abracadabra.
like you get like a code
Yes.
phrase and they activate. Like,
Yeah.
that's what.
That's
Also,
crazy.
sleeper agent.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
It is terrifying.
Interesting.
The program involved more than 150 human experiments involving psychedelic drugs, paralytics, and electroshock therapy. Just so you know, these are not hard numbers. These are estimated numbers based
Okay.
on accounts they were able to find.
I got you.
So, over 20
This is
years.
not like a memo from Dulles
No.
to JFK saying we had 150 guys.
No,
They
this
did
is this is
Yeah.
a guesstimated. And that's what they say more than.
Okay.
They don't have an exact number. So sometimes the test subjects knew they were participating in the study. They would volunteer. But other times they had no idea, even when the hallucinogens started taking effect. So you're sitting there, having a good time, and then you start tripping. and you're like, what the f-? So many of the tests were conducted at universities, hospitals, or prisons in the United States and Canada. Most of them took place, obviously, between 1953 when it started, but up to 1964 is when the bulk of these happened. Like I mentioned, it's not clear how many people.
Yeah.
This is just guess.
Yeah.
They're just guessing.
Yeah.
So the agency kept notoriously poor records, and they destroyed most of the documents.
Of course they did.
When the program was officially halted in 1973.
Whoops! How did that get in the fire?
Oh my God! Oh,
How did that get in the shredder?
the filing cabinet burned out. I don't know, it spontaneously combusted.
Just store it at the Watergate building. No big deal. Yeah.
According to a gentleman named Stephen Kinzer, he's an author and a journalist. He wrote a bunch of stuff about MK Ultra, and I quote: he said the CIA project was a continuation of the work begun in World War II era Japanese facilities and Nazi concentration camps on subduing and controlling human minds.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. So Kinzer writes that MK Ultra's use of mescaline on unwitting subjects was a practice that Nazi doctors had begun in the camps at Auschwitz and Dachau.
Yeah.
Wait, what's mescaline?
It's a hardcore hallucinogen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like hardcore.
And Dr. Evil or whatever, not Dr. Evil, Joseph Mengele in the concentration camps he would drug people and fucking
Do it.
Yeah,
mutilate
weird-
people.
yeah, weird
and,
shit.
and it was. I guess what it's saying is it's the formation of
like,
it.
Like literally,
that's-
they're pretty much continuing, and it
Yeah.
actually there is a little bit more that gets into like saying that's not really that wrong. Kinzer gave evidence that the continuation of this Nazi agenda was actually happening because he cited the CIA had kind of secretly recruited Nazi torturers and vivisectionists to continue practicing on thousands of subjects, and Nazis were brought to Fort Detrick, which is in Maryland. That's where a lot of this was happening. A lot of it was like actually formed at Fort Detrick, and that's where a lot of the main. There was only about probably 12 main guys in MK Ultra, and that's where a lot of them were stationed at Fort Detrick in Maryland.
12 main bad guys.
Yeah, like the ones doing the experience.
Yeah,
you had?
totally.
Okay, yeah.
12
main
people who
bad
were
guys.
involved in the MK Ultra
administering
project.
it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because it was super compartmentalized. Like not a lot of motherfuckers were part of MK Ultra.
Yeah.
So the first thing we're going to cover here is LSD. Obviously, that's a big boy in the room. I want to give a little backstory on LSD and how it came to be, because not a lot of people know this. A scientist by the name of Albert Hoffman, and he became an employee of a large pharmaceutical and chemical development company called Sandoz Laboratories, now known as Novartis, just in case you know. Big fucking company, massive. So that was in 1929. He began studying medicinal plants as well as fungi, in essence, to purify and synthesize things that could be used in pharmaceuticals. So he first synthesized LSD on 16 November 1938. His main intention was actually to obtain a respiratory and circulatory stimulant. And it was like, he was trying to, I'm going to make you breathe better. No. So he synthesized it, and they literally didn't, and then just like put it in storage for 5 years. Didn't test it, didn't do anything. Just made it.
He didn't
and
know
like,
what it was.
No, he just like
he didn't know what.
just put
you
it
know
in.
what I mean?
It literally went in a box for 5 years.
Yeah.
So on April 16th, 1943, he was like, "Oh, what do I have here? This little thing, this little stash he stashed away." And he's okay. I'm gonna take some.
Oh,
Shit. Okay.
taking your own stash.
Literally, he's like, "I think I'll try it."
He's like, what do I have in the U-Haul storage right now?
He instantly was like, "Some shit's going down."
Yeah.
So he wrote, he described the feeling, and here's how he described it. "I'm affected by a remarkable restlessness combined with a slight dizziness. At home, I lay down and sank into a not unpleasant intoxicated-like condition characterized by an extremely stimulated imagination. In a dreamlike state, with eyes closed, I found the daylight to be unpleasantly glaring. I perceived an uninterrupted stream of fantastic pictures, extraordinary shapes with intense kaleidoscopic play of colors. After some 2 hours, this condition faded away."
Wow.
So like some like random dude is like, "I'm gonna try this."
In other
fucking-"
words, he was tripping.
Jeez.
Yeah, he was tripping. So 3 days later, he's like, "I'm gonna take a little bit more." So he decided to ingest 250 micrograms of LSD, which he thought was a safe amount. It's fucking humongous. It's like
Yeah.
an ungodly large dose of LSD. It's so much. Like normally people will take 1 microgram.
Okay.
He took 250.
250.
He took 250.
Oh.
So he
lost his mind.
tripping balls.
He died.
No, his trip was not pleasant. He said people started to morph into fantastic creatures. Office furniture moved and shifted like living entities.
Holy shit.
And he felt possessed by otherworldly forces. He calls his assistant. He's like, "I need you to help me get home."
Yeah.
And the assistant's like, "Okay." So at the time, so this is in Switzerland.
Okay.
So there was war happening at the time. Oh yeah, it's 43.
World War
World War II. So because of wartime restrictions, you can't have cars in the streets.
Okay.
Past a certain time. So
There's a curfew.
Yeah, so he's literally like him and his assistant have to ride a bike 6 miles to his house, and he's tripping fucking ultra balls. He's like
Hard enough, like riding after a couple beers. Like I can't imagine that. 250 milligrams of LSD.
Oh! He's like, dude, he's
So on a side
micrograms,
note,
whatever.
I used to live really close to Sean, and I would bike to his house,
oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
and so then I would have to bike home.
After like ultras.
So I know the feeling.
Oh yeah. And luckily for you, going to your house was downhill. Not a lot of pedaling. This day became known as Bicycle Day. And it's actually a real thing, which until I like looked at this, I had no idea it was a real thing. Like it's fucking acid heads all over the world
Oh really?
actually celebrate Bicycle Day. Because this was the first
It's like 420.
this
like,
was the first
for
intentional
weed.
this is the first intentional dosing of LSD.
Oh, I see.
The first time someone was like, "I'm trying to get high."
I get it.
And did it.
But it's not like cyclists don't celebrate it.
No, it just drug
bike day.
addicts.
Yeah,
Drug addicts celebrate it.
Cyclists
All over the world.
takes their LSD and jump on a 100-mile loop.
It's like
Lance Armstrong.
Tour de France, bitch. Let's go. It's gonna be a long one. So Hoffman continued to take LSD in small doses throughout his life, and he ended up dying in 2008 at the age of 102.
Whoa.
102.
Wow.
He died of a heart attack.
Wow.
102. My fucking God.
God damn.
So yeah, so that's the story of LSD.
Okay.
So now, how does LSD play in the CIA?
Yeah.
So the CIA began to experiment with LSD, which, by the way, it's called lysergic acid dithalamide. That's the technical
The worst
We're
name.
term.
just gonna go with LSD.
No wonder they said LSD.
They're like drug.
Yeah.
And we're gonna call it drug. This was under the direction of agency chemist and poison expert Sidney Gottlieb, who is this is a guy who's running MK Ultra.
Sidney.
Sidney Gottlieb. So Sidney believed that the agency could harness the drug's mind-altering properties for brainwashing or for psychological torture.
Okay.
So that's why he's like, this is going to be the one.
Yeah. So this guy is the guy who kind of implemented it.
Yeah. So Sidney,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
I said,
I know the other guy was the creator of it, but this is the guy who.
oh no, yeah, this is the bad
Yeah.
guy. I mean,
Yeah,
the other
yeah.
guy was
It's
literally
like the
just
top.
like trying to. He made
Yeah.
the shit on accident.
Yeah, he's like
he wasn't doing it
Oppenheimer.
he wasn't doing it for
Yeah.
any reason
Yeah.
other than. And then he was like, I think I'll just take it because I like it.
Yeah.
You know? Sidney Gottlieb is a total piece of shit.
Okay.
This guy's the number one piece of
Yeah.
shit. So the CIA focused first on LSD, and it actually came to dominate most of their programs because obviously
Yeah.
they were using a shitload of different drugs, like all hallucinogens.
But that one had
and
the
shit.
most.
That's the one that they thought had the most potential, so they started using it the most.
Gotcha.
They thought that gave them the best chance of actually achieving the goal of like, oh, we'll fucking brainwash this motherfucker and he won't remember
Well, it's
shit.
probably the one that you tripped on the most and had the most like
Longest effects
Yeah.
and like all kinds of
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah. I've never done LSD.
same.
I have.
You have?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, people I've talked to who have done it, it is one of the more extreme.
Dude.
Okay, but LSD.
Dude, it's like it's hard to explain.
Really?
It's really
How
hard.
many micrograms did you do? Is that what it is? It's micrograms, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's all these different names for it, like doses, tabs,
yeah.
microdots. So, in essence, what you do is they take a drop, like a tiny droplet, and they'll put it on paper.
Put it on
and
it.
you put a paper.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I used to get it from a guy who would put it on a Pez and freeze it. So you just take a Pez,
Oh.
and then like 20 minutes later, you're like fucking.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so
But compared to like other drugs, though, it's the one that
it is so
manipulates
it is so intense.
your reality, right?
Oh, dude.
Compared to like, I don't know, like
No, compared to, like, weed
doesn't
or something.
necessarily.
Yeah, you're not
weed doesn't
gonna
make the walls melt.
No,
Right.
dude, you see shit that doesn't
Yeah.
exist.
Yeah, okay.
Like you actually start manifesting things that aren't there. Like
okay.
you start.
Yeah, yeah.
And
You're
if you-
creating
your
something.
mind starts fucking like
Dude, and if
You're
you
creating.
tricks on you
You're
on the real
creating what's
world.
not there.
and if you go real
what?
crazy,
You're creating something that's not there.
well,
Meaning like
what it uses, what
like
it
a
does.
fucking dolphin's coming out.
No, well, most of the time you're using what is there, and then you're adding to it.
Oh, I see. Okay, okay.
And you'll take you take the visual stimulus, and then that is getting altered and modified into
Gotcha.
other things.
Gotcha.
Whereas, like if you do, which I did one time, which first of all, I don't recommend anyone taking drugs. It's not cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the time, I did one time. I went in total darkness when I did it, which is stupid.
Wow.
And I literally,
Like blacked out.
So like the whole room's black, you mean? Or?
no, I actually went in my closet
Okay.
at the time, and I closed it, and it was pure black. And after about 20 minutes, so what happens is, so since there's no visual stimulus to
Right.
alter,
yeah.
you start
Oh,
alter.
yeah.
Dude,
So
I was like I was living out whole scenarios in my mind that I thought were real, and then I'd wake up and I'm in the closet, and I'm like, I get the fuck out of this closet right
Wow.
now, and that freaked me out. I don't like this anymore.
It sounds scary.
It's terrifying.
Like of
If-
all,
Yeah,
of
that
all the
does.
things.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, like booze is a drug and it's like
True.
in a sense, but it doesn't scare me.
No, because it's not.
You know what I mean?
It's
I'm not like, oh, I'm fucking terrified.
not
of
a
what's happening.
It's not a hallucinogen.
Yeah,
It's
okay,
not like
yeah.
mushrooms or
Yeah.
like they say psilocybin or like mescaline or peyote or these things that are literally
Yeah. That just scares me.
cause hallucination. They cause you to hallucinate.
That stuff just scares me. Yeah. Well, thank you for giving us a peek into your
my dark past. I was actually part of MK Ultra. You caught me. I am 50.
Wait, you're Sydney?
I am Sydney.
He's programmed to be on the podcast.
Exactly.
In 2022, you shall start a podcast.
It's like the code word is all of a sudden
Nighty
like,
night. The code word is nighty night.
like activate, make people
that
believe
accent.
all podcasts.
I love it. One day we just got to do that. The whole podcast.
Oh my God. In accent.
So yesterday,
That would be fun.
documents obtained from the CIA under the Freedom of Information Act in 1976 showed that in 1953 the CIA considered purchasing 10 kilograms of LSD, which is enough for 100 million doses. 100 million doses.
So this stuff is so potent that
One drop is all you need.
one drop is
Singular drop.
That's all you need. That's
Oh, dude. Oh, yeah.
one drop.
One.
That's crazy.
If you take too much, you're fucked for life. Like, you're ruined.
Because you need a pound of weed. I'm just trying to do a comparative. You have a pallet of weed. It's equivalent of
It's like a drop. Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah. Like
okay,
a pallet. That's
yeah.
probably a good, that's probably a good
a
comparison.
pallet
Like a
of weed is comparative to one square of LSD.
And they were considering, quote unquote, purchasing 100 million doses.
Jeez.
So
shit.
the proposed purchase aimed to stop other countries from controlling the supply. So so pretty much they found they found out about LSD and they're like, oh, they can't have this shit. They are not allowed to have this shit. This is the first motherfucker to invent this shit. Like they can't have it.
well, back to your paranoia too. It's like they don't want.
Oh no, they're like the Soviets are ahead of us. They can't.
Right.
Oh, they already got their own LSD.
They're already ahead of us. Like,
This America's LSD.
I always kind of find it a weird argument that's they're saying, well, we just don't want others to have it.
right. Fuck that.
Look,
Yeah, like
it's-
we want all the Bitcoin because we don't want nobody else to
I
have
think it's
Bitcoin.
the thing is like it's either they're doing fucked up shit or
Yes.
we do the fucked up
I
shit so
know.
they can't
Yes.
do it.
Right.
Right.
Weird.
right.
Yeah, it is weird.
Documents show that the CIA purchased some quantities of LSD from
Okay.
Sandoz laboratories in Switzerland. While it can't be proven, they bought all of it.
100 million.
Oh, they bought all of it. 100%.
Really?
Oh yeah, they did.
Does it talk about a year? Like what year this was?
This
That
was
they
in
bought-
this was 1953.
Oh, in the beginning.
Oh yeah, this is in the beginning. So there is no hard evidence. Like there's not a receipt. Like, that they purchased it, but they bought all. They bought all 100 million doses.
That's insane.
They were stocked up. They were like
That's insane.
They're ready to go.
who's getting dosed? Who's getting dosed? Everybody's getting dosed. I told the boys before the podcast because you guys know me by now, listening to 40 episodes of us. I'm like very anti-establishment. I don't trust anybody. I don't trust them. This is why
Who's
I don't
paranoid
trust
now?
This is why I don't trust the government.
Yeah.
MK Ultra gets underway in 53, and then they started administering LSD to mental patients,
Testing.
prisoners, drug addicts, and prostitutes. So pretty much, who were the people that no one's gonna get pissed off about if they're getting dosed?
Wow,
And they're like,
I
let's
thought
go
this-
after them
I thought this was mainly a military
this way.
like experiment.
There's more.
But I didn't know that they did it to
Dude, they started. Well, the first.
What's the word?
They pretty much like
mental-
miscreants. Like,
mental patients, prostitutes, homeless people.
yeah, like they,
Kind of
drug addicts. So pretty much
Drug addicts.
what they did. No, like literally, that was the modus operandi. They were like, okay, we'll start with the people that no one gives a shit about.
Yeah.
And no one's gonna ask questions. If a prostitute ends up getting super fucked up on LSD, who's they gonna? The
course,
CIA made me do it.
Nobody's gonna
Okay, shut up.
assist
You're going to
anything.
jail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are the crazies.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The people, the untrustworthy people in society. That's what they did.
So they had to like at least try it out first because they probably didn't know too much about LSD at this point, right?
Oh no, they don't know anything. They know zero.
Right, exactly.
They know
so they were
nothing
like, okay,
about
let's
it.
let's
They
learn
know-
how these people trip and let's learn what they say to us. Let's learn how. Okay.
Don't worry, it's a vaccine.
Yeah. We're getting canceled now.
Just don't say the C word.
Oh. Anyways, so in one case, they administered LSD to a mental patient in Kentucky for 174 days. 174 days.
man.
Like, what are they?
He lost his mind.
What are they? He was already crazy.
Well, to them, yeah, they were like, "Oh, this guy's already crazy. We can't."
I just don't
do any worse.
Like, what were you trying to accomplish? Like,
On day 142, you're like, let's give him 30 more days.
Yeah, it's still
Give him
working.
30
It's still
more
working.
days. Yeah,
I think I like this. Let's keep
nuts.
going.
yeah.
that's crazy. That's
super
inhumane,
Oh, dude, it's of course.
Fuck.
right?
It's
worse.
super
That's-
inhumane.
It's
That's
worse.
inhumane.
It does get worse. It does get worse. So they also administered LSD to CIA employees, military
yeah?
personnel, doctors, and other government agents.
Wow.
Yeah.
So just at like a luncheon.
We'll get into that. And so also members of the general public to study the reaction. So they were just, okay, we'll upgrade to everybody else.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, we tried it on the crazy
see
person,
what it-
but
see-
they're
yes.
crazy. Like
Yes.
now, let's see what
Do it
happens with it.
on professionals, like
Right.
regular people, government agents, see how they
Yeah, because
react.
you got to think the whole purpose is, can we manipulate these people to
Can we get them to
later
do
on
something?
do what we want
Oh
them
yeah,
to do?
no. So the aim was to actually find drugs because they used more than LSD.
Mm-hmm.
So the aim was to find drugs that would bring out deep confessions, that would wipe your mind clean, something you could program them as like a fucking robot agent. You know, hey, and when this happens, you fucking boom and you kill them, like type programming. They
Whose idea was this?
Sydney fucking
Sydney,
Gottlieb.
motherfucker.
Why was this like?
Because they're all paranoid about the Soviets, dude. I don't know. They're like, oh. So military personnel who would receive the drugs, they were threatened with court martials if they told anybody. Oh, yeah. Sort of like, you fucking tell anybody, you're out of here.
Yeah.
Who are they going to believe? They're going to believe the man? They're going to believe you. You fucking scrub.
Wow, that sucks.
Yeah. It's super upsetting, honestly. Like, the more I talk about it, the more upsetting it becomes.
Yeah.
Frank Rudolph Emanuel Olson. He's a forenamer.
Oh wow,
Okay.
Kind of like you, all right?
Spanish?
sounds Mexican to me.
Oh, yeah. That's a forenamer, baby.
I know.
He's got four names.
Yeah, no,
I got
but
four names.
do I say Spanish or do I say Mexican?
Well, if you're from Mexico, you're Mexican.
You should say Mexican. Yeah.
Don't say Spanish.
No.
No.
Are you from Spain?
I'm just checking. I'm getting okayed.
Spanish
I'm getting okayed from the entire culture, right?
Right. Exactly.
Or is the ambassador?
I represent.
Yes.
I represent all
I just,
Mexican.
Yeah. I just need it in writing. Like, send me an email, certified.
And I just sign it, please.
Yeah.
I'm a notary.
Don't
Just
call
save
them
this-
Spanish.
Just save this video
But you
clip
know-
and just
Yeah,
save it to
you
your
know the
phone.
problem though is that I would get caught calling somebody a Mexican who's maybe not from Mexico.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, okay,
Yeah.
motherfucker.
Yeah. Honduras is not Mexico, bro.
Venezuela, piece of
I'm
shit.
like, all right, well, tit for tat.
American bacteriologist, biological warfare scientist, and an employee of the United States Army Biological Warfare Laboratories. So he's a military guy. And so Olson would become one of the first scientists at Fort Detrick.
Okay.
So Fort Detrick, what I mentioned, that's where a lot of this happened at MK Ultra.
Connecticut
where's-
or something like that.
It's in Maryland.
Oh, Maryland. Okay.
The Army transferred him to Edgewood Arsenal in Maryland. A few months later, the Chemical Corps took over Detrick fully, and then they established its secret biological warfare laboratory. So they take over the base, and they're like, okay, cool, now we're going to establish this secret thing so we can start making chemical weapons and, start doing fucked up shit.
Yeah.
At Camp Detrick, Baldwin worked with industrial partners like George Merck, which obviously Merck Industries is humongous. Also the U.S. military as a whole. And they were going to build fucking top secret bioweapons. And so that began in 1943.
This was mid-height
so it's just-
height of the war.
Yeah, so it's during World War II when they started doing this shit. At the time, during World War II, there was a lot of interest on, hey, we got to advance this weaponry. We got to be prepared. We got to just be like proactive and creating more and more shit. So,
I mean, if Hitler and the Nazis were looking for the Ark, I mean, we got to do something ourselves.
So Olson also worked with ex-Nazis who had been brought into the country through Operation Paperclip on the utilization of aerosolized anthrax, meaning like you can just fucking spray anthrax on someone's face.
Terrifying.
So, like I said, they were working with fucking Nazis,
Back
bro.
then, what the fuck do we have
Terrifying, I know.
nowadays?
So Olson eventually was discharged from the Army in 1944.
Before the war ended, he was discharged.
Yeah, he was discharged, but he remained at Detrick on a civilian contract. So he still was working. He still was working for the military. He just wasn't, he didn't have like the fucking.
Maybe his,
didn't have the brass.
maybe his, you know how they end.
Yeah, like your contract's up or whatever.
your
You're
term.
discharged. Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, he's like, I make more money as a contractor, so fuck it.
yeah.
Sure. Like 100%. He continued his research there in aerobiology. So then in 1949, He joined a lot of other like Dietrich scientists, and they were, in essence, creating a different thing called Operation Harness, which tested the vulnerability of animals to toxic clouds. So they're just like doing different shit. So he's like,
they're spraying it and putting the dogs in. Going,
let's see what happens.
See what happens.
Yeah.
So I'm just telling you, I'm trying to give you a backstory. This guy's involved in a lot of shit.
What a dumbass fucking profession.
So then,
Sorry, but like
it's crazy. It's wild.
You're putting a bunch of dogs in a room and you're spraying the room and ugh.
So then it keeps going. In 1950, he was part of Operation Sea Spray, where they would pretty much release this bacterium into coastal mist in San Francisco through a minesweeper, and then they would pretty much see what happens. And pretty much reached all the San Francisco residents at the time. It was 800,000 people, and they would like see what happened.
And all this stuff is documented.
Yeah,
Like this is
all documented.
These are all declassified.
No, this is all
before
documented.
MK.
No, I know, but I mean, this is all declassified documents.
Yeah,
meaning
it's all documented. Like all this stuff happened. Like it's they got the receipts.
In your hometown, by the way.
Maybe that's what happened. Maybe the sea spray fucking fucked him up. Like,
I wasn't.
No,
how old do you think I am?
not fucked you up, fucked San Francisco up.
I love San Francisco.
And fucked you up.
San Francisco fucked you
old head, boomer.
I was born in the 80s.
Oh, sure. That's what
This
you're
is
telling.
like 40 years earlier.
That's what you're telling them.
Oh, God.
Anyway. So this is the 1950s. At this time, a lot of senior military officials, as well as CIA officers, were like starting to get freaked out about Soviet progress, and they're like, "Oh shit, the Soviets are gonna master fucking microbe warfare, and we're gonna be fucked." And so they pretty much this like fear led to them establishing what they called the Special Operations Division at Dietrich, and this was in the spring of 1949. So the purpose of that was to conduct research on covert ways to utilize chemical weapons. So not just like, hey, drop a fucking bomb, to do it like secretively or to actually use chemical weapons on individuals.
Gotcha, yeah.
So the Special Operations Division, I'm just called SOD because I don't want to keep saying that. So the SOD was highly secretive, and Olson became the acting chief of SOD within a year of its creation. So he became like head fucking honcho.
As a contractor.
Exactly, as a contractor. So then he was still like he was assigned as a U.S. Army contractor. He began working for the CIA as an employee. So he became employed by the CIA shortly after that. Then in 1952, he was appointed to the committee for Project Artichoke. So Project Artichoke was the precursor to MK Ultra.
Yep.
So Project Artichoke is known as an experimental CIA interrogation program, but in essence, it was just like MK Ultra, but like before it became MK
Before
Ultra.
it morphed into MK. Yeah. It was like three versions, right? Before MK Ultra?
There was
Or two.
I think
This was the third one.
there might have been three.
Yeah.
So who's the guy who comes up with the operation names? Operation Broccoli. And then
just
one
sounds
before
cool.
that was Artichoke.
Let's just go with that.
Artichoke's dope.
Artichoke. No. Better than MK
Yeah,
Ultra?
but Artichoke.
No, but maybe it's like, you know, an
Choke your
artichoke,
ass.
like you peel like the layers of the artichoke back. So maybe it's
that's
just
so
like
deep.
peel the layers back of your mind.
Okay.
But MK Ultra, it's just like sounds like a dope,
It's got to mean
like
something.
a band name.
Honestly.
So Project Artichoke was a mind control program, and the Central Intelligence Agency's kind of code for carrying out psychological experiments using LSD, hypnosis, isolation, physiological harassment, as well as special interrogations on human
that's like
subjects.
the your brother ever do the thing?
I'm not touching. I'm not touching. I'm not touching.
You do it on your chest over and over until it feels like a pound.
Stop hitting yourself. Stop hitting
There's
yourself.
one.
Stop hitting
There's one.
yourself.
You remember the spit one?
I never.
Oh.
I
have
don't have brothers, so.
I have brothers, so they would do
The what?
physical torture.
Physiological.
Physiological
like pin
torture.
you and, like,
they pin you down,
try
they
to
do the
drop-
spit,
Yeah.
and then they suck it back up before it hits your face.
God,
so gross.
I never did that to my brother.
fucked up.
Should have.
Like literally, that would fuck me up now. It probably fuck me up worse now.
Also,
I'd
how
be
do they have
ruined.
spit that did that?
How can they
I don't
suck it
even
up in
understand.
Like fucking. At first, agents would use cocaine, weed, heroin, and then they started escalating to peyote,
They're just testing
mescaline.
everything.
After all these tests, they started to see that LSD was the most promising. They're like, we're getting the most activity from this. We're gonna start using this one more. And then, so subjects after the project, they were left kind of like fogged with amnesia, They had like weird memories, like faulty memories, vague memories. They couldn't really remember what happened. And then in 1952, the LSD was increasingly given to unknowing CIA agents. So they started just giving it to their agents. Like, fuck it. Let's see what happens.
Hey, before you go out in the field, just take this. Like,
well, they apparently they wanted to see what happened, like when people weren't expecting to take it.
Yeah.
Oh, like they didn't know?
Yeah, they didn't know.
Spiked?
Yeah, so they were like, I guess we'll start with people that are like on the payroll. Like,
And they could watch them.
Yeah, let's see what's wrong, Dave? You okay? What's happening?
It's messed up, man.
Tell me how you feel.
You go on YouTube or just social media, whatever. Just type it in. Like, you'll see videos of people like that didn't know that they were taking the LSD and part of this MK Ultra, and like they just start tripping. They start like babbling, whatever, and they start asking them questions, like interrogating them and shit. So
it's fucked. It's fucked up. If you're not suspecting it, and then you feel that way, I would be fucking terrified.
Yeah,
I would be. Why is this happening to me? One agent was kept on LSD for like 77 days. They're just like some of the stuff that they had on record.
Yeah.
Of like proving what happened.
Insanity.
Project Artichoke was succeeded by Project MK Ultra. Came right after.
Yeah.
Here's where things start to get a little spicy.
Okay.
If it wasn't already. Like, fucking Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
By 1953, Olson had pretty much, he's like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good for Olson. All right.
Well, look at all the
There's
fucked
a
up
little
shit this
bit.
guy's doing.
No, I
Like,
know, but usually there's not like a
conscience?
or like a curve on the story to like, oh, he's like, oh, I feel bad.
No.
You know, most of these stories are like they raped him, murdered him,
I know.
he's dead.
I really like this.
until he was 102.
Fucking A. So he was kind of done. He was at his wit's end. You know, he became super stressed, and he was like, his conscience weighing on him, and he's, I don't know if I can do this anymore. And he's like starting to get waffly. And so because he was starting to waffle like this to his family, to his coworkers, they started seeing him as a potential security risk. So because MK Ultra and these Artichoke ones they're highly compartmentalized, highly top secret. So like I said, there's only like 12 motherfuckers who are in on it.
Yeah.
It's not like there's a lot of leaks that can come. It's like, you're one of the 12, bitch. It's going to come from you.
Yeah.
They saw him as
the weak link.
as a potential security risk.
Yeah.
And they're like, we got to keep an eye on him. So, the boys wanted to do some bonding. They had a little men's retreat. You know? So this was with the
I know where this is going.
this is with the closest MK Ultra crew. They had a cabin in Deep Creek Lake. They got it from a Wednesday to a Friday.
Yeah, it's in Maryland.
They do have a list of the participants, the tentative participants at least.
Yeah.
So the first one's Olson, Lieutenant Colonel Vincent Rouet, who was actually the head of the Special Operations Divisions. So he was Olson's boss. John Schwab, who actually founded the division and was its lab chief.
Descendant of Charles.
I hope so.
Schwab.
That was the worst joke ever. Jesus Christ. That's so stupid. I can't even have it. I'm actually angry.
I'm gonna pump that one up.
I'm actually upset.
I'm gonna turn the volume up.
Descendant of Charles
Schwab.
First of his name, the breakup chains.
Surrender.
Surrender. Then there was John Stubbs, Benjamin Wilson, Herbert Burt Tanner, worked at Fort Detrick, John Malinowski, he was a staffer, Gerald Yonitz, and he was a special operations division scientist. And then there was a couple guys from the CIA, Sidney Gottlieb. There was Robert Lashbrook, who was Gottlieb's deputy. So Thursday evening around...
Bunch of guys. These are the guys.
Bunch of bros.
These are the
You're at the cabin.
Guys
Get
trip for a
some
couple
fucking
days.
cigars.
Yeah.
They're having a good time. It's about 7:30.
Yeah.
And they grab drinks. They're like vibing. The guys are vibing. They're having a great time. And then all of a sudden, Sidney and Gottlieb and his deputy Robert Lashbrook, they're like, "Hey, by the way, we dosed the booze with a potential truth serum." And everyone's like, "What the fuck?" And obviously,
AKA LSD.
later,
or what the fuck?
later it came out that it was LSD.
Oh, shit.
But he literally just fucking dosed all the boys.
Damn.
Yeah. And then we don't know really what happened during the night. We just know that he literally dosed everyone there
Okay.
with LSD.
Hold here. So we're doing a podcast. Let's just say we're doing a podcast. We come like, hey, I brought Miller Lights tonight. It's on me. Hey. And then halfway through, I say, by the way, I dosed it. What do you do?
I'd attack you. I think I'd attack you. I'd physically accost you.
Yeah.
100%. But before I lost
this must
it.
have happened.
I mean, maybe they were like standing far enough away that they were like, Get the door.
Also,
Sydney,
maybe,
get the
maybe they're already
maybe they waited.
feeling it.
Everyone's all, damn man, this
Yeah.
this knockoff.
I might tell you after you're completely fucked
I'm like,
up.
what's
Right.
happening to me, Eric? What's in these Millers?
Oh, well, I forgot to tell you, but that's because I spiked it.
Surprise, surprise.
Wow, that's
Damn.
fucked up. I mean, if I was this Olsen guy, I would never speak to them again, probably, right?
I mean,
Wouldn't you?
I would.
Yeah,
I mean-
for sure.
Or at least be like,
I fucking wouldn't. I'd hate you.
Yeah.
I
I'd
would.
be
I would
done.
despise
Yeah.
you.
yeah, I'd be done.
I would despise you. So there's not a lot of info on what happened that transpired after that point.
Yeah.
But I just know that the next morning, Olsen went back to his home, and he was different afterwards. So like he's having dinner with his family.
Yeah.
He refused to eat. He seemed distant. He wasn't speaking about the trip at all. Like his kids were like, "What's happening?" He actually blurted out to his wife, "I've made a terrible mistake." Said that to
About
his
his
wife.
whole life,
He
probably.
literally said, "I've made a
Like
terrible
his whole
mistake."
career, his whole everything. I
Yeah.
wonder if that
He
was
like
the first
realized
time.
who he's.
And no, he realized also what he was giving others.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like he was
Because
like,
like,
oh
well, it's
shit,
different when you're just looking. You're like fucking idiots.
Yeah.
Right, he's just kind of like saying, "Oh,
Now
you
you're
know,
like, oh my god, this is what I'm doing to
exterior
people.
viewpoint, like running this experiment, whatever."
Interesting.
So so at this point in time, MK Ultra had only been underway for 7 months, and there's like there's 12 dudes who know about it.
Yeah.
Literally, barely 24 people who know about it. So then on November 23rd, 23, Olsen and his boss, Lieutenant Colonel Vincent Ruett, who has also got dosed.
Okay.
So they went to work at Dietrich. They were both kind of still fucked up from the retreat because they both were like recovering from acid. So Ruett recalled Olsen appeared to be like agitated. He asked Ruett, should he fire me? Should he fire him or should I quit? So you can tell he's already either you're going to fire me or I'm going to leave. You decide, in essence, is what he's telling him. So Ruett was able to calm him down. He was like, hey, dude, like, let's chill. It's just probably still coming down, off the high. And then,
This is days later too, though, right?
Yeah.
yeah. And
I mean,
so,
how long does it take to come off of LSD?
well,
I was thinking it was like the same day.
it's obviously
No idea.
everyone's physiology is different. Also, like LSD actually goes into your spinal. It goes into like your spinal fluid. So,
So it's probably lasts longer than no.
so it lasts long. Yeah, I mean, when I did it, it was like fucking 12, 13, 14 hours. Like fucking
hour. Okay.
crazy.
Damn.
No, but your body's like,
Yeah.
like fuck.
Like
Trying to get
kind
it out
of
of your
hung
system.
over or
Yeah,
whatever you want to call it for days.
Imagine like staying up, but no matter how much you drink, you won't pass out, but you keep drinking for 15 hours. Yeah, like it's like that.
Okay.
Yeah, and then at the end you're like, I hate this.
Vegas.
Vegas. Oh my
Vegas.
So- sounds like Vegas.
Vegas.
Yeah,
Exactly. And then the next morning you're just puking. Like,
real quick, just because I'm not knowledgeable in drug terminology, but is dropping acid the same as doing LSD?
100% same thing. Yeah.
It's the same. They're the same words.
Yeah.
I mean,
The
like
same thing.
meaning. Okay.
The same exact thing.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just a different like 10 names. It's just like weed, pot,
Marijuana.
fucking- yeah, marijuana,
Yeah, yeah.
grass,
Okay. Okay.
all that stuff.
Okay.
So Ruett later testified that Olsen was apparently got worse. He got worse the next day too.
Yeah.
He said he was disoriented. He felt all mixed up, and then like he felt all mixed up, not only like himself but about work,
Oh yeah.
and he felt like
his choices.
he felt like he couldn't do his job, and that was kind of what he kept saying to him. Like he felt incompetent in this field, and he can't do it anymore. So
But it was probably more morally.
Remorse. Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
it's probably a multitude. Like
He's like-
everything
Maybe he's
combined.
like, this is so fucked up. I don't know
Right.
what I'm
That's
doing.
what I'm saying. Like,
I have
And
no
then-
idea
yeah.
what I'm doing.
and he's like,
and like you were saying, like it was probably the first time that he felt what he's doing to other people.
Yeah.
so on the next day, Tuesday, November 24th, he attempted to resign. So he was dissuaded by coworkers, and they ended up like talking, him and his boss and some of the other guys, and he's like, look, okay. So they ended up flying to New York. It was his boss, Ruett, him, Robert Lashbrook, who is Gottlieb's deputy. He was one of the guys who dosed him. He's also a doctor. And they were going to fly to New York to meet with a gentleman named Harold Abramson, who's a doctor who was a medical doctor linked to the CIA. Olsen had actually worked with him a few years prior, so he knew him.
Yeah.
So I think they were, hey, we're going to get you some help. It was also noted that Olsen told his wife that he was going to seek psychiatric care.
So he's losing his mind.
Yeah, he's losing
He's
it.
losing his mind. But I don't understand. Why is he not fucking mad at these people for tricking him?
Bro, I'm sure
into
he is mad.
But he's like chatting with them about his job, and it's just kind of like,
dude, it's also like it's a little different. It's not like he works at like Denny's, you know, and he's like, oh, I want to quit.
And they're like, hey, we swapped out the hash browns.
No, it's like he works like there's 12 motherfuckers the same clearance as him. It's not like, you know, it's like national security.
Yes, I would be so mad at them though.
Oh yeah, for sure. You're like, they are
so
not
mad.
coming over for dinner.
But I guess, but it sounds more and more like he lost his mind.
Yeah.
I
You know
mean,
what I mean?
it seems like he was teetering,
Yeah.
and like either that or he just
Like lasting effects of the LSD, honestly.
yeah, or that it's
Right?
like or just being around these people just made him kept feeling progressively worse, and he probably
bit of
like
everything,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it's a little bit of everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
So around 2 a.m. on the morning of Saturday, November 28th, so this is 4 days later, Olson plummeted onto the sidewalk in front of the Hotel Pennsylvania. The night manager rushed to Olson, who was still alive, and who tried to mumble something. That's quote. Olson died before medical help arrived. Years later, the night manager recalled, in all my years in the hotel business, I have never encountered a case where someone got up in the middle of the night, ran across a dark room in his underwear, avoiding 2 beds, and dove through a closed window with the shade and curtains drawn. End quote.
That's crazy. Wow.
That's
So
all.
he jumped out the window.
Dude, he
How many
got
floors
up,
does it say? How many
dove out.
floors?
got up, went around the beds, pitch black, in his underwear, dove through the fucking curtain,
Shades,
the
yeah.
shade, the window.
Do you know how many floors it was? Okay.
I think it was 8. I don't know why I think 8. I think
So
that,
he died on impact.
no, he was alive.
Oh,
He was still
so it must
alive.
have- it couldn't have been that high.
And then he died.
Yeah,
and then he
you know what I
died
mean?
after.
Yeah.
The manager came up to him and he was like, "Bleh," like he was like, still talking to him.
Artichoke.
He's like, "What? I'm not hungry." What are you talking about?
Broccoli.
Artichoke. What does that mean? Damn it!
All right.
Is that what's on the other side?
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy.
So when police entered the room, they found Robert Lashbrook sitting on the toilet in the room he shared with Olson. Like, homie just jumped out the window and he's taking his shit. He's just sitting on the toilet.
Oh my god.
They're out of their minds.
Dude, no,
They're out of their minds.
Lashbrook never did LSD. He's the one who dosed them.
Oh, he's the one that gave it to them. That's right.
Lashbrook's Gottlieb's
must have done
deputy.
it.
Dude, that's
He
what.
must,
He must
have
have
done
given
it.
it.
He's just sitting there
Dude,
taking
the
a
house
crap.
cat's just taking his shit. They come up and he's like, "What's the problem?" I'm taking a pooping. Like, can you close the door?
Oh
The
shit.
homie just literally dove out the window. He had to break the window too.
What's the logical explanation of this?
So, dude,
The
I'm sure
guy
there's
that
no
fight
like.
and the
I'm sure
guy's
there's
like-
no like fucking autopsy or anything. Of course,
No,
right?
and what? So the guy in the toilet's like, "Fuck you," and he's like, and then he. I don't know.
"I'm outta here."
What's
it's not worth it anymore. Fuck you.
I'm trying to think what logically could have happened. I don't know. Where he's still sitting in the toilet.
I think the only logical thing is like the shit smelled so bad that he had
Or
to
no, like,
escape.
or no, it happened, and he's like, "Fuck it, it happened. He's dead."
He's like, "I'm gonna
And
finish
then like
this poop."
10 minutes later, 10 minutes later, he's like, "Yeah, I gotta go to the bathroom."
He's like, "I'm not gonna
Right?
call the cops. Fuck it." The motel switchboard operator, he reported having connected a call from room 1018A, that's the room they were in, to a number listed as belonging to Dr. Harold Abramson, the gentleman they went to see. According to the operator who overheard the entirety of the brief call, the occupant in 1018A reported, "Well, he's gone." To which the call's recipient had replied, "Well, that's too bad." It's like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? Well, he's gone. Too bad.
Oh well.
Like, what the fuck, dude?
This is like
It doesn't make any sense.
Looney Tunes.
It's so weird.
Like Looney Tune behavior. I don't get it.
Yeah. And they call, like, why do you call? Well, he's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, too bad. See you later.
That's crazy.
So,
That's wild.
Lashbrook's wallet contained the initials, address, and phone number of magician turned CIA asset John Mulholland. So Lashbrook claimed that he and Olson had visited Mulholland, although this is disputed by some. I guess it's just some like,
Yeah.
it's just other tidbits of data, like, hey, was he connected and things like that.
P.S. I think I want to be a magician just so I
Turn
can.
CIA agent.
Yeah, like so it could be on my resume, like retired magician.
or it's like additional skills,
Yeah.
magician.
Yeah. In the past. In the past.
And so at the scene and in the written report, these are the two police officers discussed similarities to the 1948 Lawrence Duggan case in which a high-level government official suspected of espionage died after plummeting from his New York office. The ensuing police report said that on his last night in Manhattan, Olson purposely threw himself out of the window of his 10th floor hotel room. I think this was the 10th floor because they were in room 1018.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
So like similarities
He didn't
there.
die? Jesus.
Dude, I don't know, man. It must have been his speed from hitting the glass got slowed down.
He landed on his feet.
Or it's like one of those
Oh
things.
no! I hope he landed on his feet. Dude, no.
Or he was just like like one of those things they say, like
he
if
a
you're
cat?
if you're falling, you're not supposed to brace yourself or
Yeah.
whatever.
He was just like
but he was
limp,
just like
yeah.
tripping, so it's like everything's loose.
He just like bounces off the ground.
It's like
He's
snowboarding.
shit.
It's like snowboarding. You're supposed to hold a fist when you fall so you don't break your fingers.
Oh,
So
smart.
maybe he's like,
No, I think people like drunk drivers, like they get in an accident, they kill someone, but like they don't get hurt because they're like
That's what I'm saying.
they're just like their
because they
bodies
don't like
like
tighten
they're just
up.
gonna like flail around. Like, you know,
Christ. I don't get it.
even if you don't
I
get-
know. I mean, I'm just saying. I don't
Yeah.
get. Yeah.
The police report said that on his last night in Manhattan, Olson threw himself out the window of his 10th floor hotel room, which he'd been sharing with Lashbrook, and died shortly after impact. Meanwhile,
did die from the
meanwhile, short. Yeah, well, obviously he died from the fall.
But
Not-
he
not on
gurgled.
impact.
He gurgled.
Right, it was not like instant on impact.
No, he was alive.
Yeah, but I mean, 60 seconds.
Why are you going to assign some arbitrary time to it? How do you know?
Well, because we were like, how did he survive 10 stories?
Right.
And then he did die from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did he survive until he died?
Yeah. also, if he jumped out, he obviously didn't jump head first.
How do you know that?
Why not?
He would have died instantly.
Well, no. These 10 stories, there's time to rotate.
Yeah.
Okay.
How did he jump out the window if it wasn't head first?
I didn't drop kick the window.
Yeah.
Bitch.
No, like
It's
Luke,
like sidekick it.
Like
yeah, like
Luke
Luke
Kang.
Kang from Mortal Kombat.
The bicycle kick.
Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna get into all these later, but
Yeah.
did he jump or was he thrown?
Yeah. Right.
So yeah.
So that was the start of the craziness.
That was the start because I wanted
Of,
to, I wanted
things
to
getting
I wanted
weird.
to give everyone one of the more famous stories, especially because this guy was literally one of the 12 people who actually worked on MK Ultra.
Yeah.
And they dosed his ass.
Yeah.
Nobody's safe. Hide your kids. Nobody's safe
Nobody's
from
safe.
getting. They're dosing the employees. They're dosing everybody out here.
I mean, it sounds like LSD is a suicidal. I mean, the story sounds fucking crazy.
The story
it sounds insane.
the story's wild.
Logical.
But the thing is, I can. This would make more sense if he was high on LSD when he jumped.
Oh right.
But he got off the LSD like
I mean,
10
all I
days
could-
prior.
No, but we don't know that, right? Like
Yeah,
there's not an autopsy that says that he wasn't on LSD or something at the time that he died.
No, they just said he
No,
was
but I
jumping on the
mean,
window.
but
That's
the
what I'm
data
saying.
we do have
It's like
is
why
earlier,
would he
earlier.
do it again?
But-
the guy's not happy.
But here's something that I don't know if
They gave it to
I don't know if most people talk about this or know this, but I'm pretty sure that LSD, or I mean, based on that story, is LSD fucked him up from the get go.
Yeah,
Meaning he took it and then he's like doesn't matter how many days, I am now crazy.
Oh, it's just
You're-
permanently
Like
fucked
it's in
with
my
his mind.
system, and I lost myself.
I
and,
see what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
Well, I think that LSD is definitely not a drug that one should do unwittingly. Like you need to prepare yourself because you're gonna experience weird shit, and if you're not prepared to experience weird shit, you're gonna freak out, and it's gonna turn real bad. It's gonna be the worst night of your life. So you should just not do drugs because then you'll never have to experience that problem.
Yeah,
Don't do it. It's so stupid. Don't do it. It's
But I mean,
fucking
it seems
stupid.
like LSD. I mean, I could be totally wrong. I'm just throwing in my opinion here. It seems like LSD is what killed him.
I'm pretty sure the fall from the 10-story building killed him. I mean, I'm just gonna do a wild card here.
No, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, but are you saying
he
the
jumped
first-
out of the window?
But are
I'm
you
just
saying
saying
the first time he
went.
did LSD, or are you saying that
Well, from
LSD
what we know,
and then it made him jump out the window?
from what we know, that was the only time he did it.
From what we know, okay.
Well, he didn't want it. He didn't even do it. They
I
gave
know,
it to
but
him.
I'm
It
saying
wasn't
That's true.
It was so
it's
much.
like he was like, I'm gonna try it.
I'm just saying it was so much on him, and it stayed. It obviously it was date coincident. 10 days later, he wants to leave, quit, give up, kill himself.
Well, Eric, do you really think that he was like, fuck my wife and kids, I'm going to jump out this window?
No, I think he just went crazy from the LSD.
And because I was say, like, because if someone's going to kill himself at the window, he would probably open the blinds and, like, open the window and be like, oh, okay, I got to, like, fucking, I got to hype myself up. Yeah. And I get ready to do this.
Also,
not just like,
take a step out there
I'm
on the
taking
window.
it all out. Like, fuck it.
Also, is that, if I was going to do it,
Definitely
that's not the way I would.
No way.
That's not the way I would.
My ideal is grenade.
Really?
Quick, fucking boom.
Really?
No, there's no mistakes.
I would just do a gun.
No.
I mean,
No, but the gun.
Little Cobain
The
action.
gun, you could still survive, bro. You could live and you could be a vegetable. Grenade,
that sucks.
0% survival
Not
chance.
a shotgun. Not a shotgun. You don't have a chance.
Oh, if you do it like under the chin, oh,
yeah, but that's messy.
it is messy. Then you're
That's what you're thinking about?
closed casket.
Yeah,
Your kids aren't gonna be able to mourn you.
I think I would go cyanide pill.
No, that's worse, dude.
No.
How's that worse?
Dude, cyanide death is terrible.
You're done. You're out, right?
No, that's the movies, bro.
No.
If you don't die instantly, it doesn't
Hitler
work
did
that
it.
way.
Hitler did it.
Oh, really? Hitler did?
Well, we're not sure.
Is that why they burned his
We're not-
corpse?
yeah, we're not positive.
To briquettes?
Yeah, we're not positive.
No, cyanide doesn't kill you in a second. It doesn't work that way.
Well,
Okay. Well, yeah, because we all watch James Bond movies.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm sorry. Like, I'm
Fine.
gonna look
5 seconds.
yeah.
It's
It's fine. I
does-
went on a tangent anyways.
But I'm just so you know, like cyanide pills, it leads to like insane nerve damage, rapid onset of extreme pain. Like it's
That'd be a
it's
great,
not like a fun.
It's not the quick,
It's not like fun.
easy way
Yeah,
to
it's like,
go.
Dude,
pain.
Right.
That would be a great bad guy though. That would be a great bad guy. So here, this is a bad guy, right? I take a cyanide pill. It doesn't work all the way. Half of my face melts off, and I'm the bad guy now. And I have like deformed, and they're like, and it's like, why are you the way you are? Oh, I had a failed cyanide.
That's from a movie.
Really?
I'm pretty sure.
I can't have one original idea.
Like I'm pretty sure it's from.
Yeah.
It's from
What? Two-Face?
No,
Like
I think it's from the last,
Batman?
like the second
From
to
a
last,
Bond?
second to last Bond movie, Daniel Craig.
What?
Second to last Bond movie, Daniel Craig. It was with the guy who's
Javier Bardem.
Javier Bardem, and he's like, he takes off the mask and he's like teeth out. He's like, you see what you've done to me.
That wasn't from Cyanide.
Oh, yes, it was.
Sometimes I
Because he
think
tried, because he was an agent,
Yeah.
and he was supposed to kill himself,
Yeah.
but it just like nuked his face, and he
Yeah,
didn't
it
die,
didn't
and they
work.
tortured him anyways.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
See, sometimes I think I'm creative,
but you're not.
but really it's just a movie I watched in '98, or some shit.
I'm pretty sure
You're like, I got a
Pathetic.
great idea.
Yeah, yeah.
He's like, and then I'll be the bad guy, and I'll be Spanish.
Check it out. It's called.
I'll be Spanish. My name be Javier, and this will be great.
Check it out. It's Pepsi with a twist. Pepsi twist.
Eric's like, you ever wonder like if Bud Light had like a lime flavor? Like, hear me out.
All right.
Well, anyways, we have a lot more
Yeah.
coming for you. Episode 2.
That's right.
Definitely want to hear your insights. I want to know if you guys knew about this story and Ken Olsen and this whole rigmarole.
It's wild.
You're
It's a
gonna
wild
you're
story.
gonna want to tune in next Tuesday because like shit gets way wilder. Dude. It's just so out of control.
It's crazy that this is also sanctioned by our government.
And this is why I don't trust government. You guys fucking always call me like, look at Sean, he's a fucking blah, blah, blah. And you wonder why I don't trust him.
That's true. All right. Well, we'll catch you guys next time.
Yes, thanks again. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, make sure to leave us reviews, make sure to email us because we love you guys.
Info@theconspiracypodcast.com.
That's right.
And nighty night.
Hey guys, hope you enjoyed the show. If you want to reach out to us, please email us at info@theconspiracypodcast.com. You can check us out on Instagram at A Conspiracy Podcast. Also, don't forget to subscribe. You can catch a new podcast almost every week. Just hit the little subscribe button at the top. It's a plus sign. We love show ideas, corrections, hate mail. Thanks a bunch.